You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Friday, happy Venus Day. And you know, I think Rose already said it best. What a day already. Yes. However you're feeling right now, I just want to hold space for you and let you know that you're not alone. And even if the current events, Roe v. Wade being overturned, isn't something that tugs on your heartstrings particularly, I just want to acknowledge that we all experience collective energy, and the energy does feel a little bit dense today. So just want to hold space for that. It's something we're going to talk about, actually, because reproductive rights, I'm not infusing my opinion into this by any means, but this is something that's been coming up in the transits that we've talked a lot about over the past couple months. So I'm going to provide some insights on that. Also, speaking of what a day already, you probably heard about the planetary parade. Every freaking news channel in America, and maybe around the world, has been talking about the planets aligning and being able to see them with your bare eye in the night sky. Different astrologers have different takes on this. I will give you mine very briefly, and then we're going to walk through Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the energy of each day. We have a conjunction each day coming up, so we'll walk through that. If you're finding this video later, I'll put chapters on the timeline so you can navigate easily. If you find this video on Saturday or Sunday, you can skip ahead to those days. And at the very end, as we always do on Friday, we will do a 3-card tarot pull to see what else wants to come through from God, Spirit, the universe, what else we need to know. Hi, Jennifer. Glad you're here. Hello, Diane. Hello, Rachel. All right. So let's start by talking about the elephant in the room. Let's start by talking about the news that came down this morning that it seems like everyone is talking about. Roe v. Wade being overturned by the Supreme Court. Now, as I mentioned, this is something I've been talking about since Lilith moved into Cancer on April 14th, okay? And we've been talking this week about Lilith squaring off to Jupiter. We talked a lot about this yesterday, I believe. Yeah. So yesterday's show was all about Lilith. And we've been feeling this tension between Lilith and Jupiter all week, never quite becoming exact in this square, but today's the last day that these two planets are within a degree of each other. And just a refresher, Lilith is that part of us that doesn't want to be controlled. It's kind of our inner bitch, the part of us that wants to rise up and have sovereignty. And you can literally go back to my show from April 14th where we talk about Lilith moving into Cancer, or go back to even the forecast on that day. I'll throw it in the comments because not to say like, oh, I've been talking about this and I know what I'm talking about, but it is wild as an astrologer to see all of this play out and know that we've been talking about it. So Lilith, especially in recent years, has kind of been adopted as this feminine power, this wild feminine energy. And, when we talk about Lilith, it's especially in Cancer, the sign of the woman, the sign of the mother, it's hard not to talk about reproductive rights. And, I said on the 14th of April, this is likely going to be an issue that comes up over the next 9 months, because that's about how long a Lilith transit is. So I just threw this forecast in the comments for you. So if you want to kind of go back and look into what we were talking about when Lilith moved into Cancer, you can see that this is something that we sort of projected would happen. And themes of, I wrote on the 14th, themes of oppression of women's bodies in particular will likely come to light. Reproductive rights and issues surrounding motherhood could take center stage. Vulnerability will become a regular part of our vocabulary. So are we surprised that when Lilith formed this square to Jupiter, amplifying this energy, creating this discomfort, almost this impulsive urge or need to feel control, that this decision came down? I don't like to say like this is why this is happening, but sometimes, for me at least, understanding the transits gives me a little bit more peace of mind about knowing that everything is working out on a higher level, even if we can't see the end goal of it yet. And honestly, it's kind of made me feel a little bit more calm about the situation. I know that's a privilege that I have to feel calm about it, but I just wanted to touch on the fact that, you know, Lilith in Cancer to me is really about reclaiming our bodily power, reclaiming our reproductive rights. And it feels like right now, as Lilith is squaring off to Jupiter, this is the only major planetary connection that we are feeling today. We're really feeling it. You know, we're feeling this overwhelming sense of a need for control of our own bodies. So really interesting stuff. And regardless of what's going on with the transits, again, if however you're feeling, you are entitled to feel that way. And just to know that even if the news today feels overwhelming, this isn't the end of the road. It's not the end all be all of law. I know it feels like it for a lot of people, but I personally, this has not a lot to do with astrology, but I just feel like this is kind of the beginning of something. So yeah. Despite the heaviness of the morning, I'm still trying to spread positive energy out there, hoping for positive changes for everyone. I really feel that way too, and I'm so glad you said that, Rose, and I'm so glad I can see your comments again today, everybody, because like I mentioned, we all feel the collective energy, regardless of if we are really strong in our stance about reproductive rights or not. We can feel when the people around us have a lower energy or feel fear or feel sadness. So people like you, Rose, being here, wanting to spread positive energy, it does make a difference, and it does help other people work through their own emotions. Hi, Marissa. Happy you're here. So happy the chat is working. Yes, the start of something amazing. I think it could be the start of a revolution. And Lilith squaring off to Jupiter right now, I have a feeling we'll see a lot of people standing up for their bodily power and feeling that almost impulsive urge to demonstrate and to make their sovereignty, their bodily autonomy known today. I haven't seen any protests yet, but I would not be surprised if that happened by the end of the day. Keep spreading the love and support, even if it's hard right now. You guys are like finishing each other's sentences. I love it so much. Don't want to go on too long about this, but I just want to remind you all that this is something we knew was probably going to happen, and that doesn't mean that it's over. Like Katie said, start of something big. Yeah. I was with you a couple days this week, but never said anything. Well, I'm glad you're here now. Feeling all the feels today. Lilith vibes for sure. And let's just take a moment before we move on from this. What do Lilith vibes feel like? You might feel angry today, especially with Lilith squaring off to Jupiter. You might feel like I need to stand up and find my power and find my control. And that is healthy, and that is supported by the transits. So yeah, definitely feeling those Lilith vibes. There are 3 protests planned in New York City already. Women and people in general around the world, I don't even think it will just be in the US, around the world are going to be leaning into that Lilith energy and standing up for their own power, their own control over their bodies. Yes, we're going to talk about the moon forming a conjunction to Uranus too. Big shifts, big disruptions, big changes today, discomfort in our bodies. Yeah, Rachel's right on track. She gets it. But before we go into what's going on with the moon all weekend, all these conjunctions we have coming up, I want to talk about one more thing that's been dominating the headlines all morning. Today was known as the planetary parade, or really over the past week or so, we've been seeing this. So here's a little illustration that I stole from Twitter. And like I said, everyone in every news channel in America is talking about this planetary parade, all the planets lining up in the night sky to our visible eye, something we could see right before dawn this morning. You should be able to see it again tomorrow if this is something that excites you right before dawn. But you see the moon, and then you'll see like what looks like really bright stars kind of lined up next to it. Those are the planets all lined up. It's so funny how people are freaking out about this. It's a really cool astronomical sight, right? And you've been hearing, the next time we'll see this is 2040. The last time we saw this was 2004. I actually heard in a news story last night that after 2040, the next time this alignment will happen will be 2845. So it is a rare sight and it is really cool, but it's funny. You and I know that we've been watching these planets line up on the chart every day during these forecasts. So it's really no surprise or like this big epiphany that all the planets are doing this. They've been doing it for a while. We just are seeing it with our bare eyes, which is cool. It's cool. I have also heard so many different interpretations of it. I've heard one astrologer say that it could bring, bad things or create disruptions in your life. And I've heard someone else say it's so fortunate and it's so beautiful, all these planets coming together and their energies merging. Personally, as an astrologer, I don't see a huge major astrological significance with this. I think it's really cool that so many people are tuned into what's going on with the planets, and that's an awesome moment of like awareness for everybody. But again, you and I know that the planets have been lining up this way for a while. So let's actually take a look at what this looks like on the chart right now. We have the moon right here. This is kind of the marking point of where you can see the other planets when you look up in the sky. The other planets you can see with your bare eye, even though they're all there in a line. I mean, look at all of the planets are right next to each other pretty much on this side of the chart. So of course they're lining up in the sky. But you are able to see Mercury, Venus, then the moon. You won't be able to see Uranus with your bare eye, Mars and Jupiter and Saturn. So you can see that lineup. Again, Neptune is one you can't see with your bare eye. So we can see that lineup on the chart. We know it's been happening. And some of these planets, like the planets Venus and Mercury and Gemini, are forming supportive connections to the planets in Aries, Mars and Jupiter. So we know that there is like a supportive element to it, but when we have planets in signs next to each other, they're really not making major connections at this point. It's like they're in different modalities, they're in different elements. They're not really like talking to each other a whole lot. So while it's cool, I don't really have a lot of astrological insight to give about this because I really don't think it means a whole lot. We can talk about the fact that we have all of our, or most of our planets in Aries, Taurus, and Gemini right now. So, if you look at those sectors of your chart, you can kind of see where the major action is happening in your life. That's a cool way to work with this energy. Both Mars and Jupiter and Aries are bringing a lot of energy and aggression, but then we have Venus and Mercury in Gemini picking up the pace. So yeah, there is a lot of energy infused into this, but it's not necessarily because they're all lining up. It's just, I think, where the planets are in the sky right now. I'm curious though, I know you guys are chatting in the comments, what you are thinking about it. Noticing friends who are normally very quiet, speaking up very loudly today through social media. Of course, this is going back to reproductive rights, but I think we're going to see that, definitely. And, maybe this planetary alignment is giving people a little boost of courage or energy to speak their minds too. But yeah, for sure. Let's see. Too bad I live in the woods, so many trees, I can't see the moon, I have to find a place to see things. Yeah, so there is still a chance to see this if you can find a nice open skyline. You got to get up really early before dawn tomorrow morning. You might still be able to see it on Sunday too, but I know this morning was like the peak of when you could see it most clearly. So you might try again tomorrow, Diane. Let's see. All right, so that's my take on the planet parade. It's really cool. It's an awesome sight that we get to experience, but I don't see a whole lot of meaning behind it, at least astrologically. Maybe it is something that will bring us all together, because I do believe that when so many humans are looking up at the sky and experiencing the same energy and having that same like awestruck, wow, look at all these planets lining up for us, that's going to raise our vibration. That's going to raise the energy. So I think it could bring positivity in that way. But none of these planets are conjunct each other right now. You know, it's not like the Great Conjunction a couple years ago when you could literally look up in the sky and see all the planets conjunct. They're all lined up. They're all spread out in the astrology chart. A lot of you guys still sounding off, which this is the space to do it. You are welcome to give your insights about today here. Let's see. Lilith vibes for me can be a bitchy vibe, but also a boss bitch kind of vibe. Like, I know what I want and need, and I'm here to take it. Yes, Rose, that is Lilith. And that's the vibe I think we're going to see in a lot of these demonstrations today. Let's see. I'm so angry. The energy of the world is high. I send love to everyone. I'm glad that you spoke up in the comments today too, Marissa. I think that's really cool. So fed up, sick of women being treated as inferior to men. That is the Lilith vibe, Alexandra, right? Like, the story of Lilith was that Lilith was created as Adam's first wife, as an equal to Adam. And then in the Bible, at least, you know, Lilith refused to submit to her husband and accept that she was less than a man, and she was cast aside and for hundreds of years seen as this, you know, rebellious, negative person in religion. And now we, the women of the 21st century, are reclaiming that Lilith power. And this is a moment where we are really standing up, and women around the world are coming together. I had a feeling this would happen, but somehow I still can't believe we're here, right? Like, what year is it? What is going on? Anyway, okay, well, we're going to move on to the regular astrology forecast, because if I get going, I'm going to have a hard time stopping. I experience Lilith as inner courage. I love that. I absolutely love that. And I think we could all tap into that Lilith within today for sure. Yes, definitely try to see the alignment if you can. It's really cool. It's awesome to see all the planets with our bare eyes. I think it connects us more to their energy. But I wouldn't, if you see anything online about people saying like, it's going to be this, it's going to be that, take it with a grain of salt. That's my opinion. Okay, let's talk about what's going on with the energy this weekend. So the sun is in Cancer. Lilith is also in Cancer, remember? So the sun is going to come into a conjunction with Lilith on the new moon on Tuesday. We'll talk more about this on Tuesday, but as we're discussing Lilith, I could see next week being kind of a new beginning, a new revolution for women and our bodies. We'll see. We will see. I just think that's a nice little tidbit to add in, because this new moon is really potent and it's going to square off to Jupiter too, amplifying the energy, and Lilith is right there in the mix. Now this weekend, the moon is in Taurus today. I don't know about you, but I woke up so freaking tired, and that could be the collective energy. It could just be me and my body, but when the moon is in Taurus, we all crave that comfort, you know, and so if you were feeling especially tired today, I was right there with you. Tomorrow, the moon moves into Gemini, but every day the moon is making conjunctions, starting this afternoon, as I believe Katie was mentioning. The moon is forming a conjunction to Uranus. So let's talk about that. Let's look at what's going on in the astrology chart. So this afternoon at, let's see what time, I believe it's right around noon. The moon is going to, 3 p.m. So this afternoon still, 3 p.m. Pacific time, the moon is forming a conjunction to Uranus. And when we look on our chart, you can see the conjunctions that are lining up for us all weekend. I mean, it's going to be back to back to back to back to back. First Uranus, then the North Node, then Venus, then Mercury. That's our weekend lineup right there, the moon passing over all of them, which is really funny too. When you look at this planetary alignment, you can literally see what's going to happen this weekend. The moon is going to move this way, form a conjunction to Uranus this afternoon, form the conjunction to Venus, and then form the conjunction to Mercury on Sunday. And so tomorrow, if you look at the planetary alignment, the moon will actually probably be between Uranus and Venus. So that, again, that's a really cool way to see what's going on with the planets just by looking up at the night sky. It's cool that we can do that. So what happens when the moon and Uranus meet up in the sky? What does that mean for us? Well, Uranus is the planet of disruption, of upheaval, of change. And so emotionally, we could experience some major disruptions this afternoon. We're already starting to feel these disruptions, right? With the news that has come out this morning. I wrote surprises are possible this Friday. I think a lot of us were surprised by the news that came down. It kind of seemed to come out of nowhere, at least to me. Not out of nowhere, but just we weren't expecting that news today necessarily. And if we're unwilling to kind of go with the flow, which the Taurus moon is not a very flowy energy, you know, Taurus energy is known for being stubborn and fixed. That stubbornness could lead to frustration and to anger, even outbursts. So as healthy as anger probably is right now, my suggestion again would be to think of this not as a be-all end-all. This isn't a permanent thing, but rather an opportunity for disruption, an opportunity for upheaval, an opportunity for change. And if we lean into that change, it can be a really productive use of this energy. This transit can also, on a personal level, cause a disruption to our physical environment because Taurus rules the physical, right? Or to our body. So personal upsets are possible, even just not feeling your best or normal today. That's definitely an aspect of this transit when the moon and Uranus are conjunct like this. So really just trying to stay open. And I will say Uranus also rules the future and innovation. So as much as it gets a bad rap for being all about disruption and causing issues and upheaval and all these things, and yes, it does that. But Uranus is all about innovating and looking to the future. And so what's happening right now in our collective could be forcing us to innovate, to do things differently moving forward, to think about future generations and how we're showing up for them right now in the present. It's funny though, because the Taurus moon, I think a lot of us are just, the sun's in Cancer, nice cozy vibes. The moon's in Taurus, also comfortable vibes. I think a lot of us are just going to want to spend our Friday night like on the couch or in a comfy environment. That doesn't mean, you know, in the world we live in, we can really like connect with other people through technology. So I could see you wanting to lean into physical comfort for your body, but also our mind will likely be very stimulated through the weekend. So you could be, you know, a keyboard warrior and doing your social justice from the couch, and that would be supported by today's transits, honestly. But, you know, everybody will feel this a little bit differently. Just know that your own emotions could surprise you today, even as you're taking things in this afternoon. Could just be a moment where you need to release some emotion. And remember, the moon is in its waning crescent phase. This is a moment of surrender and release as we prepare for the new moon next Tuesday. So, you know, sometimes just allowing emotions to come up and come out of us can be a really beautiful form of surrender and release, just letting whatever comes up come out. So, you know, also clearing out your physical space, clearing out any clutter around you can be a great way to get ready for the new moon, to prepare for the next phase, like really feeling comfortable in your physical environment and feeling safe to just surrender and relax. Relaxation under the Taurus waning moon is key. Finding a way to relax in your body if you can. Now at 9 p.m. tonight, the moon will make another conjunction to the North Node. And, you know, the North Node isn't a major planet, but I do love that this is happening today because the North Node represents the direction we're going, the lessons we're here to learn, the energy we're leaning into. And tonight at 9 p.m. as the moon meets up with the North Node, it's also opposing the South Node, giving us a clear view emotionally of where we've been, of what we're leaving behind, and helping us lean into the energy collectively that we're meant to embody. So I think tonight, you know, any activism that happens is very much supported, is very much part of the direction we're supposed to head, especially with Uranus being in the mix. Uranus can be all about activism. It's the ruler of Aquarius, you know, so today is definitely a day for activism, and that activism is taking us in the direction that is of our highest good, that is the path we're supposed to be on. So really, I mean, I wrote the forecast before this decision came down today, and it's kind of wild to see the synchronicities playing out. But just know that this disruption is an opportunity for innovation. It's an opportunity for, Uranus is also the planet of rebellion, you know, so these Lilith vibes bringing this rising of rebellion out of all of us, especially us women, and then the moon forming a conjunction to Uranus in Taurus, which is very physically focused, puts a lot of attention on our bodies, as well as the Cancer sun. You know, that upheaval, that disruption is very powerful today. Very, very powerful today. Let's see. Katie, I love that perspective. Actually, I just found out last night, remember how my Saturn opposes my Chiron? Well, Lilith is right next to Chiron in my chart. Ooh, so this is hitting especially close to home for you, Rachel, probably. But also, there's a lot of power for you to heal once you tap into that part of you that is sovereign. I love that. Way more eloquent way of putting it. I think my internal rage this morning resonated more with a cuss word. Yeah, there was a lot of cussing happening in my household, but I love that you just said that. Anger is a gift. Anger is a gift. And sometimes it feels uncomfortable. Discomfort is definitely part of the path today with the moon forming a conjunction to Uranus. There's really not a lot that's comfortable about that transit. But our anger shows us what we really care about, what's really important to us. And we can, as we evolve and learn how to process our emotions more easily, we can channel that anger into productive outlets. So just know that if it feels like you have nowhere to put that anger right now, or it's not productive, you know, it could be a deeper calling within you to rise up, to make your opinion known, to be part of a greater cause. Especially with this Uranus energy today, definitely a rebellious energy. All in the name of love for everyone. You know, and I really feel like with this disruptive energy today, with everything that's going on, we're going to see so many people. I mean, already we're seeing so many people outcry and express their opinions about this. And it's not going to go unnoticed. We live in a digital age. Funny that Uranus also rules technology. You know, this disruption is coming through technology. Even if there aren't quite as many people marching in the streets right now, people are rebelling through technology. Hoping everyone will be safe during the protests. Yes, yes. Sending safe, positive energy to anybody who feels called to go out and physically stand up for their rights today. I hope that it's peaceful, and I hope that it is impactful, most importantly. And again, I just have to bring up your comment again, Rose. It's all in the name of love for everyone. I love that so much. So that's what's going on today. Wow, a lot, right? Now let's talk about Saturday, what's coming our way. So the moon stays in Taurus for most of the morning before it moves into Gemini. Let's talk about what's happening, though, with the moon in Taurus on our Saturday morning. So the moon is in Taurus really most of the day on Saturday, and you might start the day tomorrow feeling like a little bit tired or even sad, honestly, because the moon is squaring off to Saturn at 5 a.m. So this is the energy we start our day under, a square between the moon and Saturn. And it's really, honestly, not a fun transit to work with or even talk about, but it's important to know it's coming. So when we have the moon squaring Saturn at 24 degrees, this brings up feelings of isolation, of negativity, of loneliness, and you might even just feel like you're the only one who feels this way, or that you're just starting the day off in a low vibe, even sleepy, a low note. Know that this transit, the moon's transits, happen very quickly, and that this feeling of being stuck or lonely is fleeting. It's passing. It's not going to stay with us all day. Things are going to get lighter throughout the day, I promise you. So if you're feeling that early tomorrow morning, just know that it will pass, and let yourself feel those feelings so you can release them and you're not holding on to anything. I will say, though, that with the moon in Taurus being too stubborn, being too fixed, being too set in our ways could cause issues relating to other people. Sometimes when we're so caught up in our own emotions, it's hard for us to hold space for other people's emotions too. Just know that we're all feeling a little lower on Saturday morning, and give other people grace as much as you give yourself grace, and know that it's not the best time to connect first thing tomorrow morning, but it will get better. And finding comfort, finding relaxation, even in these tense moments, can be really helpful. At 7 a.m., so shortly after, the moon forms a sextile to Neptune. This lightens the mood. Saturn and Neptune still within a couple degrees of each other. Thank goodness. Anytime the moon or a planet is connecting with Saturn, it's shortly after connecting with Neptune, lightening the energy quite a bit, helping us lean into that one love, that universal love, into compassion, sensitivity, feeling other people's emotions more easily, being able to kind of read the room more easily. Now, Neptune energy can make us take on other people's emotions, but because this is a supportive angle, it's like we have to lean into it to experience it, so it's not just going to happen, okay? So it's really softening that blow of the square to Saturn and asking us to reach for trust, to trust that it's all going to work out. Neptune is there to remind us that there is a higher plan, that we are taken care of. So we can lean into that more easily on Saturday morning. And still talking about the moon's releasing phase here, creativity. Neptune rules our creativity. And tomorrow morning, if you're feeling any tension, releasing through a creative practice would be such a beautiful way to lean into this energy, whether that's moving your body or doing some art, even doodling. Any passion project that really gets those creative juices flowing is so supportive this Saturday to release tension, anger, any sort of stagnant energy. Because remember, right now, this weekend is really the time to get it all out, to clear anything that we don't want to take into the next cycle with us. And that next cycle is starting under the new moon on Tuesday. So Neptune's really helping us lighten the mood on Saturday morning and feel a little bit more supported and taken care of. The last connection the Taurus moon makes in this moon cycle is a trine to Pluto. This happens at 11 a.m. So this is what you're seeing on our chart right here. The moon harmonizing with Pluto, marked by that dark blue line. Now remember, Pluto is retrograde and so is Saturn. So just kind of going back a second, that tension we experience first thing in the morning with the square between the moon and Saturn retrograde, it could be like old stuff coming up, old fears coming up even, that can bring in that tension or sadness or loneliness, because we're revisiting things with Saturn retrograde. So if old stuff comes up, just know that's astrologically supported, and it will be fleeting and it will pass, and we can lean into trust with Neptune. Now, when the moon harmonizes with Pluto retrograde, it's bringing through a burst of intensity in our emotions. It's allowing these powerful emotions and insights to come through very naturally, very easily. We don't have to do anything for this to happen. It's just happening. So profound realizations are possible, especially as we reflect on the transformation we've already undergone. Because remember, Pluto is retrograde, so this is a very reflective energy. We're reviewing the alchemy that's already happened in our life to bring us to this point. We're really understanding not only how things have transpired in the past to take us here, but the current transformation we're undergoing too, that's continuing this cycle. Hindsight is really 20/20 by midday this Saturday, and we're really able to see how everything has worked out so far to bring us here. And that can bring through powerful emotions. That can bring through, really big realizations. But this is a really positive connection. And so just leaning into that transformation, allowing it to happen, releasing, surrendering to it is going to be the best way to use this energy. The moon is void from noon to 4 Pacific time tomorrow. We haven't been talking a lot about the void moon lately, but especially since this is happening during a pretty peak window of our weekend, noon to 4 p.m., it's important to note that this is a time to chill out, to finish up projects, maybe not to start anything new, or if there's something that you want to do that's really big and you want it to have a big impact, wait until the moon moves into Gemini, because a void moon, nothing that started during a void moon will amount to anything significant. So Noon to 4 Saturday, great time to just rest, chill out, take that chill pill, give yourself a break, allow your body to rest and relax a little bit. Because once the moon moves into Gemini at 4 p.m., the pace is going to pick back up a little bit. Okay, so moon moving into Gemini, what energy does that bring? It's really interesting because this is the very last phase of the moon when it's like peak surrender. You know, it's like clear out any final clutter, let it all go, and wait for the new phase. But with the waning crescent moon in Gemini, our mind is really active and we're feeling really social still. So it's like we're enjoying connecting with other people, sparking up new conversations with the moon in Gemini, but we're also trying to release and let go. So conversations actually under this moon could feel really cathartic. And, you know, it actually could set the stage for like a really busy rest of our weekend when the moon moves into Gemini, which is interesting because, you know, we want to be in a state of surrender. However, I will say sometimes being busy, at least for me as someone who is very mercurial, sometimes being busy is a nice form of release, just being social and letting my mind just be almost distracted by all the things going on and less like really, it's often when we're sitting alone or we're kind of more isolated that those powerful emotions come up. So your version of surrender for the rest of the weekend could just be talking and keeping it light and socializing, maybe learning new information in the process and just being open to whatever information comes into your awareness. That's a really great way to use this surrendering energy under the Gemini moon. Our next conjunction we have to talk about happens at 11 p.m. Saturday night. The moon and Venus meet up in Gemini. Remember, Venus just moved into Gemini this week. We talked all about it on Wednesday, I believe. And Venus in Gemini makes us like really crave and attracted to variety. Like we want to meet a lot of different people, connect with a lot of different people. We're attracted to intellectual conversations and things like that. And when the Gemini moon meets up with Venus in Gemini, it's like we're emotionally nurtured by those intellectual conversations. We want to keep the conversation going. And relating to other people feels like second nature when the Gemini moon meets up with Venus. It'll be very easy to connect with others and to share our affection with them, to receive affection from them. There's an energy of peace and harmony that comes very easily with this transit on Saturday night. And intimate conversations will be very fulfilling. We could get a lot of pleasure out of these intimate conversations on Saturday night. So whether you're out on Saturday and you're among new people, that would definitely be supported with Venus and Gemini, meeting new people, connecting with, you know, other intellectually minded humans, or whether you're just having conversations with old friends from your couch on a Saturday night, either of those energies is supported, but it's really about the conversation, the connection, and that can bring us a lot of emotional comfort during kind of a turbulent time right now. So connection is so supported this Saturday night, and that energy will continue on Sunday. So we'll talk about that in just a moment, but let's see. Diane says, I love when I can use my creativity as a release. I'm an artist by profession, but also my passion. So it's an escape to sink into my work. I love that. I love that you shared that because really like creativity is one of the most beautiful ways to release and let emotions flow out of us, right? As an artist, Diane, I'm sure that you feel that way too. And all of us express creativity differently. You know, for me, this is a form of my creativity, putting the show together and talking to you all. Like that's super creative and fun for me. But whatever creativity looks like for you, definitely Saturday morning, even if you're not an artist like Diane and you're less of a Picasso and more of like a preschool art finger painting artist, it doesn't matter what it looks like. Just use it as a tool to release emotions. Yeah. Rachel, I love that you just said that. Oh my gosh. Wait. Oh no, Rose said it. Saturday night equals mind sex. Yes, I don't know what rap song this is, but truly, like the moon in Taurus is all about sensuality. It's all about the physical, which is why this Friday night, we're just like, we want to relax. We just want to feel good in our body. When the moon moves into Gemini and forms a conjunction to Venus in Gemini, it's like this is sexy, not this. You know, it's like whatever's going on up here, that's what we're attracted to. That is so funny. I love that you just said that. Rachel says, super excited. I'm going to visit a high school friend on Sunday. Love to know the moon will be in Gemini. And honestly, I'm loving Venus in Gemini. Yeah, such a great energy to connect with friends too. It's not just about romantic connections when we talk about Venus. Yes, Venus is the planet of love, but especially Venus in Gemini, those friendship connections are so fulfilling, and connecting with old friends, having conversations about your childhood, like that is so supported. I love that you have that already planned, Rachel. Right? Like Rose is just killing it in the comments today. Funny that you mentioned doodling, because I woke up this morning and randomly started doodling. You're already feeling like, okay, creativity, I need to release. And that's not just because of that Neptune connection, but we're in this releasing phase, you know, of the moon cycle. So whatever release looks like for you, if you're someone who likes to sweat to get energy out, if you're someone who likes to be creative, lean into that. Lean into release, whatever that looks like for you. Okay, this Sunday, the moon stays in Gemini and makes yet another conjunction. But first, on Sunday morning, I think I said Sunday. I might have said Saturday. We're talking about Sunday now, you guys. Sunday morning, the moon, we start the day with the moon in a sextile to Jupiter. This is at 7 a.m. So let me pull up a chart here so you can kind of get an idea of what's going on. The moon has now passed over Uranus, passed over the North Node, passed over Venus, and she's coming really close to that conjunction with Mercury. So we're getting there, but first, the moon makes this nice supportive connection to Jupiter in Aries. We love support from Jupiter. On Sunday morning, you're probably waking up having these loving connections from Saturday night. You might even still be feeling that connective energy with the moon and Venus being together late Saturday night. And we're feeling more outgoing, optimistic, generous when the moon forms a sextile to Jupiter. We're more inclined to have fun, connect with other people. Our energy on Sunday will likely be highest first thing in the morning when we wake up. And with the moon in Gemini connecting with Jupiter, the planet of higher learning and travel, we could be finding ourselves in philosophical conversations on Sunday, kind of talking about the meaning of life or that trip we went on and the other culture we learned about and, you know, how we're all connected. All these kind of philosophical conversations could come up as the moon forms this sextile to Jupiter. This is a good vibe. And we are welcoming it. We're welcoming the good vibes on Sunday. Sunday will be like kind of the peak energy of the weekend, how I see it. So that's how we start the day, with a little boost from Jupiter. We end the day with that other conjunction to Mercury, and that happens at 11 p.m. Sunday night. So this is literally how we're ending out our weekend. Even if you live on the East Coast or beyond, you could be starting your Monday under this energy, but you'll start to feel it on Saturday night as the moon gets closer to Mercury. So there's that conjunction, 15 degrees of Gemini. The moon forms a conjunction to Mercury. Now, when the moon and Mercury meet up like this, our thoughts, ruled by Mercury, are one with our emotions. These two aspects of our personality or of our being are blended when the moon and Mercury meet up. So we're going to feel especially chatty. We're going to feel like we really want to have those conversations, keep them going. It could be a little easy to overthink or get really wrapped up in our thought process because our emotions are being channeled through our mind here. And we could get a little stuck in our head when the moon forms a conjunction to Mercury because all of our feelings are just being filtered through our brain. But it is easier to bond with other people through conversations with the moon and Mercury together like this. Connection comes really easily, really all day on Sunday. Even starting Saturday, like connecting with other people feels really good this weekend, and conversations feel especially juicy and fulfilling. So this conjunction to Mercury keeps that energy going. But you could even find yourself on Sunday night like kind of reflecting on the weekend and mentally processing a lot of things that have happened as you get ready for the week ahead. So if you find yourself a little too stuck in your head, remember that, you know, you are a human, you're a spirit having a human experience, and make sure you're taking care of your body too. I say that because as someone who is ruled by Mercury, who is a like very Mercury person, I live here. Like this is where everything happens for me in my brain. And I really have to remind myself a lot of the time that my body deserves some attention too, you know, that it's really important that to take care of this aspect of my being as well. So you'll all get a little taste of what it's like to be Olivia on Sunday night when the moon and Mercury meet up in Gemini. It's going to be a very mercurial energy. And also, I will say on Sunday, it'll feel like the pace is starting to pick up. Even in this waning phase, it's like we're preparing for something, you know. It's like we are connecting, we're gathering resources, we're gathering information that we can use in the next phase of the new moon. It's very interesting energy right now that we're in the waning phase, but the last connections or the last transits the moon is going through before the new moon are in Gemini, which is a more, you know, fast-paced energy. But surrendering is still the name of the game here. Even if the pace is picking up, it's all about surrendering the outcome and just kind of seeing what comes in. And the mantra I use that comes to mind when I think about the waning moon in Gemini is whatever information I need will come to me the moment I need it. So rather than actively trying to gather new information, trying to make new connections, using the waning energy to surrender and trust that whoever you need in your life, whatever information you need is going to come to you, and just staying open to that. Relaxing your mind, relaxing your body so that you can take in that information, those insights that come through when they're ready to come through. So this is not about forcing connection. Connection will come very easily, and just surrendering to it, being open to it is the best way to navigate this energy. What timing? So as they try to take away my bodily rights, we'll just give them the mental foreplay. Be careful what you wish for, I guess. Yeah, right? It's interesting. What a time to be alive, seriously. You know, I would love to go back like 100 years and try to explain the time we're living in to even like my great grandma. You know, she was born in 1918. There were no TVs. I don't even know if there were like actual cars yet driving around. And to explain to her that I'm talking to you through the internet right now, having a live conversation with you, we're sharing information with each other, we're sharing our opinions with each other, we're actively rising up together through technology. It's such a bizarre time. So yes, sometimes it feels like the world is like, what is happening right now? But also we have more resources than we've ever had before and more connection than we've ever had before. I truly believe that. I love that ease and connection with others. This introvert needs all the ease I can get in that way. Yeah, just surrender to it too. This is a great, actually, I love that you said that. This is a great transit for introverts because the connections are coming to you easily. And just, even if you're not someone who loves to have conversation or like loves to put yourself out there, it's going to come to you. So just surrender to it and let it happen, you know? I love that. All right, the affirmation for today, and I think that will carry us through the weekend as well, is that I allow changes to be points of release. We're in this releasing phase, and there are a lot of changes happening. There are new connections happening. There's new information coming to light. There's disruption happening, as we've been talking about. Allowing all these changes that we're not in control of to show us what we need to release, whether that's anger that we need to let out, right? If you're feeling angry, that anger has been living inside of you, probably, right? So let it out, release it, you know, let whatever emotions come up, whatever changes happen around you, let those be points of release. Let's end with our 3-card tarot poll. As you know, this is your time to ask questions, give your insights. I've been loving all of your comments today, and I hope that you feel that this is a space that you know, you can kind of just let it out in a safe environment, because I know we all have family members who might not feel the same way as us, or sometimes, at least in my house, even if my partner and I are on the same page politically or with our opinion about something, it can be easy to get into like a heated conversation when one or both of us is feeling that heat, right? Like, it's really easy to be like, oh, I'm so mad. And then that energy is just in the room. And it's not the best vibe, so I hope that some of you got a little bit of release through the comments here today. I hope this was a nice outlet for you. Also, my phone is saying that it needs to cool down before I can use it. It's just sitting right here on the ring light. Yikes. Okay, well, bye, Instagram. I'm just here with you now on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Okay, so I'll take a deep breath together to see what final information needs to come through. Here we go. Breathe in and release. What do we need to know? The Two of Cups is our Friday card. The Knight of Pentacles is our Saturday card. And the Wheel of Fortune in reverse is our Sunday card. So let's start with Friday, the Two of Cups. This feels very relational already, just looking at the drawing. Two of Cups. Here we go. You are creating deep connections and partnerships based on shared values, compassion, and unconditional love. You see the divine in others, nurture these new relationships as they hold potential for the future. This feels like a little preview of the moon forming a conjunction to Venus, but also, with the moon in Taurus, we're reflecting on our values a lot right now emotionally. We're really emotionally tied to our values. So this Friday card saying you're creating deep connections and partnerships based on shared values, compassion, unconditional love, this energy of connection that we've been talking about. I think we're going to start to feel that today. Our Saturday card, the Knight of Pentacles. What does the Knight of Pentacles have for us? Let me see. He's at the end of the guidebook. Okay, Knight of Pentacles on Saturday. You are hardworking and conscientious, sticking to the routines that have worked for you in the past. You put one foot in front of the other and get the work done. You are a natural planner and implementer. Interesting. It's interesting that this says that you're sticking to the routines that have worked for you in the past, because we have two connections to retrograde planets on Saturday. And this is our Saturday card. So you might be reflecting quite a bit on Saturday morning, even if it doesn't feel the best, about what has worked for you in the past and what hasn't worked for you in the past, and what needs to be released and what's still working. You are a natural planner and implementer, it says. So what's interesting too is that when the moon moves into Gemini, again, it's like this really weird energy. Gemini likes to plan things and be busy, but we're in this surrendering phase. So the Knight of Pentacles could be telling us these connections you're making, this reflection you're doing is helping you prepare for the new moon and prepare for the next phase. And our Sunday card is the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Let's see what it has to say for us on Sunday. It may feel as if life is happening to you, not for you, and that you were always running into bad luck. But you have a choice. You can be at cause or at effect. Beautiful card to round out our 3-card pull, because a lot of us are feeling out of control right now. A lot of us are feeling like life is happening to us and not for us. But we can be part of the cause, or we can just be affected by it. So this Wheel of Fortune card is really kind of ending this 3-card pull of saying, how do you want to be part of this? How do you want to show up? You're not just a victim that's, as much as we've been saying, surrender and just let these things happen. As we end the weekend, we're starting to get ready for this new moon. And this card is asking us, how do we want to show up in the next phase? What do we stand for? What is a cause we care about? Do you want to be at cause or at effect? Do you just want to be affected by everything, or do you want to be part of the cause? I love that. Interesting order that they came out in, but you guys are saying that it resonates, and I love that. My family has totally different perspectives than I do, so I've been trying to distance myself away a little bit so I don't ruin my relationships. Totally get that, Rachel. I totally get that. And, we have this relationship card essentially that we pulled about connections and love. And just know that we don't have to be on the same page opinion-wise as the people in our life in order to love them. That is what unconditional love is all about, right? And I love that you're kind of talking about creating boundaries here. And I think that's going to come up for a lot of people. this weekend. It's a very connective time. We're in full swing of summer. A lot of family barbecues are happening. I'm glad you brought this up because regardless of what's going on astrologically, I would just remind you that you don't have to engage in conversations you don't want to engage in. You know, I have started doing things sometimes or saying things sometimes with my family like, yeah, I just don't really want to talk about that. And then just removing myself or like, I'm not even going to go there right now, you know, just not engaging, which has taken a lot of work for me to get to that point because normally I am like, no, I need to express my opinion and I need to make you see my point of view. I've found over the past couple years that rather than trying to mentally force my point of view on people, just showing up with love and having that energy and putting that energy out is more effective than trying to rationally convince people to believe what I believe or see things the way I see them. Looking forward to integrating for the future. Yes, lots of transformation happening. A lot of transformation happening for a lot of us. Powerful for how we move forward. This Wheel of Fortune card. It may feel as life is happening to you, not for you, and that you are always running into bad luck, but you have a choice. You can be at cause or at effect. So powerful. Thank you all for being here with me, for giving me the space to process with you all, for sharing your insights, your funny comments, your powerful comments. We are so powerful together, and it's amazing to see so many strong women in the comments, all on the same page. I mean, you look at the stats, and the vast majority of Americans feel the same way about these issues that we're talking about, but I think it's especially powerful for us all to just have this safe space to speak our mind about it and share. I mean, this is public, you know, this is on YouTube. You're all sharing your point of view with the world in a sense, regardless of how many people are really viewing it. But yes, a final thought from Rose, our MVP of the comments today. Stay safe out there. If you're going to go demonstrate today, you know, more power to you, but make sure you're staying safe. Bring water. Don't dehydrate yourself. It's hot, at least where I live. Just definitely stay safe. Oh, good. I'm glad you found this comforting. And if you're watching, whether you're joining me live or later and you found this video helpful, please go ahead and like and subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. It feels weird to ask you to do that at the end of this video in particular, but if you found this helpful, I would really appreciate it to help continue to grow our community and bring in more amazing women like you all in the comments today. I will be back on Monday for a look at the week ahead. We'll have a fun new moon forecast on Tuesday. Keeping with the energy of Lilith, she's going to be right there for that new moon, and some fun offerings in the works for next week too. So make sure you tune in. Have a great weekend to you too, Rachel. Sending love and positive vibes to everyone. I feel like we are all boss bitches today. Rose, just the mic drop right there. We'll leave it at that. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for showing up for this beautiful community that we're creating together. Hold on to hope. Stay strong. Love you all so much. Have a beautiful weekend. Stay strong out there. And I will see you right back here on Monday morning. But until then, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.